I want my feelings to get naked and your feelings to get naked, and we can roll around in baby oil.
Process them together, yeah.
There we go.
Now we're talking P. Diddy style.
So let's talk about books for a moment.
Oh.
Okay.
You read?
I do. I read a lot. And there's, I'm gonna categorize fair or unfair books in a quote unquote self-help category.
Okay.
Okay. So nonfiction books that a dude could read at maybe different points in different books that might do just that to help you process, help you get through whatever. And to call a category self-help could be anything. It could be spiritual. It could be habit, how to create whatever. But I'm going to lead with just some books you've read and some books that I've read that have had an impact on us. I'm going to start with you.
I read The Alchemist. That's one of my favorites. So much so that while I was in Mexico, the guide, Miguel, he had also read The Alchemist, and same with my buddy that went, who took me on the trip. And we had a moment where there's a part in the book where Santiago is going to find the alchemist out in the desert, and he has this moment with Fatima, who he's fallen in love with. He has to leave her behind, and he has to go travel through the desert.
Yep.
And it was the third day out, and we still hadn't been able to get the whale sighting that we wanted. And I just remember looking at my buddy Joe, and I made the joke. I said, well, you're my Fatima, I'm the Santiago. We're going to find the alchemist out at sea. And Miguel looked at me and he goes, The Alchemist? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I love Santiago. And I went, this book is everywhere. Like, this book is everywhere in my life right now.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book.
So that one, high on the list for me.
Yeah, I read The Alchemist twice.
So
I love that book. I absolutely love that book. And it's funny, like I was in, I think it might have been this trip to Mexico, but I remember being on more than one location not in America and seeing The Alchemist like on a shelf in a different language. Like, that is a universally popular book.
It's crazy.
And it feels weird to say that's a self-help book, but there's so much you can take away from that book. Yeah. Like, so recommendation, if you're looking for a book to just kind of center you, The Alchemist is
big time good one.
So right before we came on, I literally, like, as Jimmy Orr was playing, I went on ChatGPT and I was like, top 20 self-help books for men.
Okay.
Be happy to know The Alchemist is on that list.
Really?
Yeah. That's
pretty awesome.
So a book that I read, probably the book that I often credit this book as the book that set me on my journey. Like, I was like feeling something, looking for something, wasn't sure what I was looking for. And I was having dinner in downtown St. Pete 25 years ago. And a guy was like, you should read The Power of Now. And I was like, and I actually said to him, I was like, yeah, this is some silly self-help book. And he's like, no, I think you should read it. And I did. And I was like, oh, because it was the first book that introduced me to the power of present moment. Like, I knew it was a thing and I had read about it, but 25 years ago, I was like, nah. But it introduced me to the power of just now. And one of the most powerful things that Eckhart Tolle says in that book is that, he was suicidal. He was like literally on his own personal death's doorstep. And he said out loud to himself, I cannot live with myself. And what he realized in that sentence is that there's two things. There's an I and a self. And when you understand that, and you can call it whatever you want, ego and soul, whatever, but then you start to understand that there's two bodies of work here, and present moment awareness of who you are and your soul is a very powerful place to be. And I was like, oh,
that's a good one.
I was like, dang, dude. Any others off top?
So Do Cool S, the S word.
Yep.
That is a great book about how if you just stop living by the societal norms that people put on you, like go to school, get a job, get a family, do all this, and you just simply live your life by the mantra, do cool S. When you do that, cool people start to appear in your life, which will open doors to doing more cool stuff, which opens doors to meeting more cool people. And it's like this ripple out effect of doing cool stuff, which I thought was really cool, especially for guys, because just the title "Do Cool Stuff" is great, and then you read it and you're like, oh yeah, these people are just living the wild, crazy, extreme lives that, in my opinion, we're all supposed to be living.
Yeah.
But we get tampered down by, responsibility and all these things, and we forget that life is just supposed to be lived. There's no other purpose. You may think finding success and all these great things is going to matter. It doesn't. No one's going to care when you're dead. So just do cool stuff.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I have not seen that book, and we've talked a lot about, as we try to share wisdom with other dudes on this show, is that maybe the secret to all of it is just go live.
Yeah, just go do
go
cool stuff, man.
Go do cool stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Everything else kind of works itself out.
Exactly.
Easier said than done.
Of course.
I get that. But that's a really good one. All right, so a couple more, and maybe one of the byproducts of this particular break is that people are like, oh, I should go get that book. Maybe it's a gift. Ooh. We're just here to help you get last-minute gifts.
That's right. Christmas ideas, everybody. Stocking stuffers.
All right. Some other books that had a relatively big impact on me in the quote-unquote self-help genre, and I keep coming back to that for a reason, and which I will circle back to in a moment. 4 Agreements. Did you ever read?
No.
You never read 4 Agreements?
No.
It's a powerful book.
Really?
It's a very, very, it's not a long read. It's like less than 100 pages. But it's the 4 agreements, basically 4 agreements to live by. And when you break those agreements down, you're like, oh, like if I just do these things, like everything makes sense.
I love
like
that.
The very first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Wow. So just speak the truth.
Yeah.
Just speak the truth. The last one is always do your best, and understanding that your best may look different day to day. And I'm totally drawing a blank on agreement 2 and 3.
Yeah, well,
but they're in there.
Yeah.
Another book that we've talked about a little bit on this show that I read for the first time. I tried to read it like 2 or 3 times, like 10, 15 years ago, and just couldn't get into it. But Conversations with God.
Oh, so good.
That book for me was like, I read that, I think I read it in like 2020 or 2021. That book for me was like, there was a lot of aha moments in that book for me.
That book jacked me up. I read it in high school, way too young to have read that book. I read it and it unlocked too much. You know, people say like you became aware too early. Totally, that was 100% what happened when I read that book. Because I remember reading it and going to my dad with the book and being like, why would you leave this on the coffee table? And he was like, you read it? He's like, you loved it? Because he had just read it. And I was like, yeah, I loved it. Nothing's ever going to be the same now. Thanks for just leaving it out all nimbly-bimbly.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I have a couple more. I want to go to Ross really quick because he has a book that he wants to add to the list. Ross, welcome to Let's Get Real. What you got, buddy?
Hey, guys. Hey, thanks. Enjoying the show. I got a book that I read out of the blue. It was laying around at work, and I picked it up. And once I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. And it's not considered a self-help book. It's Walden by Thoreau.
Oh, yeah. Great book.
But as a man or a male, it made me really consider my life and think, because he just breaks away from society and goes off on his own and is just self-sufficient and supporting. It's kind of crazy. It's something you probably can't really get away with doing in this day and age. Maybe in Alaska you could do it or something, but it really made me introspective, and it was a cool book to think about and to ponder, because it really made you look at yourself and see what your values were and what was what you considered important and what really was, and it just really entertained me. So
and it's funny because I'm categorizing these books as quote unquote self-help, and there's a reason, but like that falls into this category. Walden, 100%. I mean 100%, because of how the book impacts you and what you take away from it. Very similar. I read Into the Wild. Oh, love that book. Love that book. Because it's kind of the similar thing. You leave society, and I thought they did a pretty good job with the movie too. It's a great soundtrack. Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. By the way, Isaiah, do we still have 2 more minutes, or is that okay? Thank you, Ross. I really appreciate that suggestion. All right. Our phone number, 1-800-771-1025. Now,
I have another book that I would like to share with you.
Hold it.
Okay.
Hold it. It's a nice tease for the next break because there's a couple of other books that I have. So I think we kind of keep pulling at this thread a little bit.
I like it.
But there's a reason. This isn't just like last minute Christmas ideas. There's a reason why I want to kind of lay all this out on the table about these books that might be construed as self-help as to why we read them, and they have an impact, but that impact wanes over time.